Welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network, coming to you from the TeacherCast studios since 2011. Join us each week as we bring you the latest educational news, EdTech updates, and hottest interviews with today's most influential leaders in education. And now, for your host, Jeff Bradbury.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury, and welcome to the Jeff Bradbury Show. If you're an author, speaker, promoter, podcaster, blogger, any type of content creator, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to be taking a look at 5 ways, probably more actually by the time we're done, 5 ways to build your brand when you're marketing to a target audience. You know, we recently did a webinar about how to build your brand, how to market your brand. And the first thing that we mentioned is know your avatar, know who you're selling to, know who you're marketing to. And today we're going to deep dive into that subject, knowing not only who to market to, but how, what they want, and how to get there. With me today is Jay Hemis from Safe Sports Zone. Jay, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm doing all right. We had a little snow today, and fortunately, hopefully, we're nearing the spring weather here.
Absolutely. It is certainly getting colder and warmer all at the same time. I know we've had some 40-degree weather mixed in with 70s, but you know what? As we're getting in here, I'm so thrilled that athletics is coming back. I know the students in my grades in my school are getting back on the field. And, you know, working with students is something that you're very, very passionate about. Working with parents is something that you're passionate about. Tell us a little bit about Safe Sports Zone. What is it? How'd you get started? And where can we find a little bit about it?
Well, unfortunately, I got started in this school security, Jeff, by being shot at.
Oh, no.
And it was after a game. And that experience, when you're involved as a teacher, coach, athletic administrator, when something like that happens, the reality is you got to roll up your sleeves and do something about it. And that's what basically Safe Sports Zone is it's an after-school security training for events or anything that happens after the dismissal bell. You know, we keep our doors locked during the school day, and then as soon as the dismissal bell rings, the visitor management system shuts down and the doors are wide open. So we're a little bit vulnerable, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to address all that time frame until the last car of the parking lot leaves.
And that is so important, you know, especially these days. Everybody does want to get home. You know, there's so much stuff going around. You never know who's there, you know, home team, visitor team. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you do, because you have a chance to really hone your brand. I know you talk to different school districts around the country. What can somebody or what can a school district look for when you're working with them?
Well, safety is all about training. We have a tendency in our country to not address the after-school training. We do a pretty good job, and we're doing a lot better job today with during the day school training and security. But after the bell rings, things have a tendency to change. There's not enough emphasis on the after-school hours. So we train the school districts, we train national state conferences, we certify with a certificate to create credentials. It's a great program. It's been out since 2012, and I probably certified and trained over 28,000 school officials.
Now, if you're looking for information here about Safe Sport Zone, you can go over to safesportzone.com. And, you know, Jay, like many people who are listening to this, you know, the bloggers, the podcasters, the authors, just like you, something happened to them and that made them take action. And before I go any farther, are you okay? I got to ask the question here. You said you were shot at. Is everything okay? Are you okay?
I was missed, but it was close, Jeff. The bullets and the projectiles were whizzing past my right ear and hitting the mortar and the metal behind me. It was close, but fortunately, no one was injured that evening.
My goodness, that is such good news. I mean, I know, you know, getting back to this, so many people have something happen to them, a life-threatening event, a life-altering event. They create a brand and they want to figure it out. Now, I know people that are listening to this have this question is, number one, how do you find your target audience? I mean, we talk about that on a lot of our shows here. So Jay, your target audience is who? Is it school districts? Is it ADs? Is it parents? Who are you putting your message out to?
Well, Jeff, there's 18,688 schools that offer high school interscholastic educational-based athletics. There's a lot of activities. There's, your drama and musical programs. But what we've been involved with is the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrative Association, along with the National State High School Associations. So we are at the national level, and we work with them. They're partners with us, and certainly we brand their logos throughout all our materials. So with that being said, we do a lot of state and national conferences and school districts in general across the country. So
I know as an educator, I'm often out at conferences. You see a conference, you sign up to present or promote or anything like that, but you take that a step further and you're actually going to school districts. Talk to us a little bit about those secrets. How do you approach a school district? Just like how would I approach a sponsor? How would I approach a book publisher? Jay, what are some of your tips and tricks for finding that target audience, a school district in your case, and saying, hi, my name is Jay, this is what I do. Can I come out and speak with your audience? How do you start that process?
Well, in the beginning, Jeff, when I think back to 2011, 2012, I would be making calls and utilizing the executive directors of each state association to try to get into the state conferences. I think once they hear you live, I picked up a lot of jobs from those state conferences. So techniques, I bought a ton of grills one time, 4,150 grills at $1 a piece from a promo that went bad because the marketing director, he owned his own business, died unexpectedly with a heart attack. And he had 5,000 of these grills coming in to do a promotion for Johnsonville Brats. And the wife, after a period of time, she just wanted to unload them. And so I bought them at $1 a piece, and then had the canvases, the canvas that went over the grills. I sent those in, paid another $1 to print a sponsor's name along with our logo. And I started distributing these grills to state associations if they would allow me to speak. So I think that was a key marketing tool because it got us in the door. And once we were in the door and we were able to help schools, and I think the trainings that we did are extremely efficient. We do a lot of active participation. We'll show a school crisis and we'll stop and ask them, what would you do in this scenario? I think over the years, I've been complimented a lot on the training and the program we provide. I'm utilizing a former student who's a computer engineer who puts these programs, these PowerPoints together and all the video streaming, and very effective.
It sounds like something that we spoke about in our last episode with our mutual friend, Mark Lineweaver, which was the art of hustle, right? Like you don't get a chance to build a brand just by sitting back. You're out there, you're networking, you're giving things away for free. I mean this word the right way. The grills were kind of a gimmick thing that you have. You give this away, much like, with us, we would have a T-shirt or a book or stickers or something like that. I mean, when we go to conferences, everybody gets a sticker. Everybody gets a T-shirt. Everybody gets a hashtag with those little ribbons and stuff like that. I mean, you're echoing exactly the same stuff that we've been talking about on this show. You have to hustle to get your brand out. You have to give things away to get the opportunities. Would you say that's about accurate?
Absolutely. Plus, we keep our price way down because we have a sponsor. So we charge $750, which is extremely low. And you got to have passion in this business.
Absolutely.
You've got to have passion. I run this business. I'm a one man in a garage and a broom, basically. But yet, when we do a presentation and people email me for posters and manuals and so forth, free things, I get it back immediately. I think that's really important. I'm not waiting, a month. I'm getting them back within 4 or 5 days. And we ship out a lot of material. I mean, I look at our end of the year costs. I mean, we're doing, 27, 25,000 a year just in shipping and printing. So it's a business that you got to have a heart for and a passion for.
It's the hustle. It's also the attention to detail. On our end, I'm listening to your story about sharing the logos on things. I go back to 2012 when I had a conference approach me and said, would you come out and do broadcasting? And I had to make a decision with like a month and a half notice of, does Jeff just go out with a microphone, sit at some table and interview people? And I said, no. I went out and I found 2 major sponsors. And next thing I know, I had a tablecloth and a big 11 by 11 background. And I had a booth with me and it looked impressive. And just like you, I took that booth around everywhere for free just so I can be at those conferences, provide a service. And then, a couple months later, I was doing like $2,000 a conference. It started to make up for itself. You have to be out there hustling. You have to be out there networking. The question I have to you, Jay, is so many teachers out there aren't natural at this. We're a 4th grade teacher. We have an idea and we're there. We go to a conference and someone says, oh, Jay, you need to do this. And they go, I don't know. We're here celebrating our 10-year anniversary at TeacherCast, and I can think of all of the times that I was new at starting something. So question for you, Jay, is how do you learn this stuff? Is it just experience, and where do you look to for, words of wisdom and learning these things on the fly?
Well, Jeff, you start off like anything. You're gonna get better the more you do it. It's like dental floss in your teeth. The more you do it, the better you get. I have to say, I started out, I was teaching at the time. I was an athletic administrator and working in the school district in the largest urban low-income high school in the state of Wisconsin. And at the same time, I was a politician. I had a lot of hands in the basket. And at the same time, I went out, I took vacation time to go out and do these presentations. I'd do 10 or 12 a year, giving up vacations. But when I retired, I got up to now. I mean, before COVID, I was doing 50, 60 presentations a year. I mean, 14, 16 a month at times, traveling and trying to connect with air flights. And there's a lot of anxiety, and yet I loved it. I mean, I'd fly 70,000 miles a year, and I enjoyed it because of the passion. At times, my wife didn't particularly enjoy it, but it's like everything else. When it rains, it pours, and there's other months that are completely almost dead. But it's a matter of getting out there and believing in yourself. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And before you know it, people are going to be calling you, and you're not going to be calling them.
It's that mixture of, as you said, passion and confidence. And knowing that you believe in yourself and knowing that you have worth and you matter in this world and you can go through here. So let's talk a little bit about the non-outside world. Let's talk about some of the things that are more digital here. SafeSportZone.com is your website. Talk a little bit about this, because many people have a brand, have a dream, have an idea, podcast, blog, author, whatever. Do you have a website strategy that you can share with us? What's on your site? Why did you create it? How did you create it? Can you talk a little bit about that? So many people right now are coming to us asking about websites. Talk to us a little bit about what Safe Sport Zone has and how you built it.
Well, testimonials, I think, are important. Mm-hmm. We also, I train at the collegiate level, graduate students, and so we will try to promote photographs of higher education training. There's a lot of news articles, a lot of information on our news, and we have a team. We got, most of the team members are volunteers. We have one part-time employee who's a tech guy, who's a computer engineer. He's awesome. I mean, he's like you, Jeff. I mean, some people have it, some of us don't. And so I kind of, you really utilize our tech guy. And he does a lot of amazing things that at my age I couldn't do, basically. And I think our website is, I don't know. I'd love to have your opinion. It gives us, we're getting jobs off it left and right. People are contacting us.
When I go to safesportzone.com, like any other website that we work on here over at educationalwebdesign.com, I look for a couple things. Number one, I look for a shot that says that you've done it. And you've got this beautiful shot of you in front of a conference room and everyone's there. That's a really empowering shot. And I'll tell you, that's a shot that's hard to get, right? Like for many new brand builders, authors, podcasters, we don't have that shot. And I've been to many conferences where I give my phone to my wife, say, get 1,000 shots, and we're going to look for the best one. And usually she ends up getting a picture of me with the hands, I'm conducting in the air, and it just doesn't look good. Or sometimes whenever I see her with the phone up, I just kind of freeze when I'm speaking. Those are hard shots to get. So if you're out there doing conferences, find a friend in the audience, ask them to kind of walk around, get those shots of you. The other thing that I like about your site, as you said, those social testimonials. Jay is great because Jay's business is good because I heard TeacherCast and it changed my life. All those little social monial kind of things. Those are really those little gems, right? And that's hard to do. For anybody who's new out there, I always recommend, use your friends at LinkedIn and send out a couple recommendations to your friends. Get some of those testimonials, even if you have to call a friend and say, hey, could you write this for me? Or could you write this for me? Because you don't want to have anybody sit there and waste their time and they don't give you what you need. Talk to your friends. I need a quote from my website. Can you comment on this? But I love websites that are easily put together. The colors are nice and put out there. And having that website be consistent with your branding. I see the colors. I see the logo. Those are the things that we talk about at Educational Web Design. And as we go through here, you're also, Jay, using audio and video. I see some video boxes up here of you doing your presentations. Where does video fall into your overall plan, your marketing plan? If you cold call my school district, do you send them a video? Do you send them a PDF? What speaks for those 1,000 words to get me interested?
Video is used, video streaming is used strictly in our PowerPoint presentation while we're training. I don't think in the misguided irate fan's mind, there is some disturbing, it's our number one problem in high school sports is berating the officials and complaining to the coach that their son or daughter is not playing. It's the majority of parents acting up. We have to de-escalate that anger, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. That's what the training is all about, is identifying, watching, eventually using nonverbals and positioning yourself. And of course, if it continues, you have to address the parent or the misguided irate fan. A lot of that has to do with when you're training is utilizing those scenarios to get the understanding of basically, if you were given this situation, what would you do? And I'm telling you, I couldn't do what I'm doing today without the video streaming.
It is an interesting time, and video right now is so easy. You can do it on your phone. You can get a cheap camera that does full high def. Any website out there needs to be taking advantage of YouTube and streaming. And, we're recording here on a service called StreamYard. So many different things. Jay, another thing I noticed about your site here, and I do this myself, you have a token at the end, right? Here is your certificate. In my world, we do certificates to different companies for letting us do reviews of their products, their robots and stuff. And then, here's a sticker to put on that says TeacherCast certified. Why do you do that? What is the importance of not only I'll come out and work with you, but now your school is certified or your program is? Talk to us a little bit about that certificate.
Well, if something would ever happen legally and the school is going to be facing some legal issues, the plaintiff's attorney is going to question, number one, your credentials. Number two, they're going to ask for, do you have any assessments done? Did you have any, did you meet? Did you train? Do you have an emergency plan? They're going to come after you and ask you about these very important issues when you're addressing legal issues. So credentials, having a certificate for every staff member that's working games is important. It doesn't mean you're going to remain immune to the legal lawsuit, but certainly could mitigate the liability down. Your Honor, our staff, we took this training on this particular date. Everybody's certified. It looks good in the eyes of the jury and the judge if it ends that way. So getting certified not just a certificate, this is from the national organizations, the NIAAA and the National Federation of State High School Associations. So it means something. And the nice thing about it, you don't have to write a paper. You don't have to take a test. All you got to do is listen to me. I mean, you might want to take a test. But I think that's a very important piece to our training.
We talked a little bit about reaching out and doing these cold calls to, for you, it would be a school district. For us, it might be a sponsor or a tech company or something. Talk to us a little bit about what happens after that event is over. Do you send an email? Do you send a handwritten letter, carrier pigeon with a coconut? Like, how do you say thank you at the end and let them know, hey, I'm always here if you need me?
Well, we use, once I receive a check, then I close out the account, I always send them a kringle. Now, kringle is made in Racine, Wisconsin. We're known for kringle. It's a Danish pastry, and we got some great bakeries, and so it's real easy for me to get online and order a kringle and with a thank you card. I think that's really important. We also use send out cards, which is a platform where you can send thank you cards online, and we like the brownies they have, so I send brownies along with them. So we like to make sure that everybody walks away after it's all said and done with a smile on their face. And I think that has really helped us over the years. Again, I couldn't do this unless I had a sponsor.
Jay, come on, be honest with me and my listeners. Are you under the assumption that people are having you come to their school for a certificate, or are you under the assumption that people are having you come out because they're going to get free pastries?
Neither. They're gonna want us to come in and train their personnel, certify them, and kringles are just the icing on the cake.
We'll have to do a Google search on that and check out some YouTube videos for how to do one of those up here in Connecticut. When we're looking at this as a build your EDU brand opportunity here, there are so many things about finding that target audience. We also talk about, what does your target audience want? Obviously, when you're going out to a school district, who you're speaking to, what they want. You can gear your presentation for that. I'm curious, at the end of these presentations, do you do any type of survey? Do you have a follow-up with the audience? Are you going out there to get email addresses from the people in the audience so you can then use them as cold leads? Like, what is that relationship? How do you know who's in the audience, and how do you take advantage of the people that come and hear you?
Well, first of all, you can read your audience through their eyes. If you have people on their phones talking or whatever, you can read that. I hope, and I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying that I never have that. I engage the audience immediately, and the training goes fast. Mm-hmm. They're very interested. They're challenged, and at the end, I feel that we just have the right timing on it. So the only way I survey that is with the comments coming back through emails that this was the best, training we've had, basically. And you get the feedback that you're on the right track. You'll know without sending a survey out.
Talking today to Jay Hammes from Safe Sport Zone. You can find them on Twitter at Safe Sport Zone and safesportzone.com. All about branding, finding your niche, and of course, making sure that you have your target audience. Jay, for somebody who's been doing this in their field, do you have any advice for the educator out there who might be doing this in their first, second, third year? What would you say to that person to help them build their podcast, their blog, their book publishership, anything like that to start building their EDU brands?
Well, take it one step at a time. Take your baby steps before you take the walk, before you start running. This is going to take some time, and you're going to get better and better. But plan on 2 to 3 years before you get a polished program. It takes passion, and don't ever give up. You got to understand that you're doing this for a reason. It's in your blood, and I'm passionate about it because I don't want to ever see anybody get injured or lose their life over a senseless act of violence. And today, especially during the COVID time where the people have been staying at home, extended time at home in isolation, we're elevating stress, frustration, anxiety, and depression. And so today we've seen a lot of crazy behavior, and gun violence is up across the country. We need to get this country vaccinated and get back to normal. And when that happens, we'll start seeing this kind of behavior dwindle. But until then, you got to take care of yourself. And so safety is really important. Know where you're at. You got to know it, what time it is and where you're located at all times today. And be careful.
That is certainly good advice. And, every time that you're mentioning these different things, I've just been kind of going back over the last 10 years of where was I when this first thing happened and how did this happen? And it does, Jay. It does come back to passions. We talk about passions and sharing your passions, and it's the last thing I'm going to say on this episode, as I have for 2,500 or so other podcasts. And, the joke, of course, is I've done thousands of podcasts. Maybe one day I'll get it right. And that's the way you have to take it. Every day is a learning experience. Every day you're going to be out there. You're going to make a mistake. But if you can go forward more often than you go backwards, I think that certainly is a win for everything. Jay, one last time, I'll let you sign off here. Where can we find you? What is that website? What are those social medias? How do we get a hold of you?
Well, the name of the business is SAFE, S-A-F-E, Sport, S-P-O-R-T, Zone. And you can reach me at safesportzone@gmail.com. You can reach me. You can go to our website, safesportzone.com. You can get a hold of me at 262-989-7711. One way or the other, if you go to our website, you can find me. I'm always available. If you've got questions, I answer emails. I'm retired from public education, but I'm still involved daily, and I'll help you.
And you can find Jay coming to a city near Connecticut where he's going to be babysitting the Edu triplets sometime soon. Jay, you can't come on the podcast and say that you're not doing anything. I have kids that need to be babysat. So, Jay, we want to say thank you so much for your time and good luck with everything. And again, don't forget to check out everything over at safesportzone.com. And also, if you're looking to build your EDU brand, don't forget to check out everything over at buildyouredubrand.com. You can check out our branding blog, our free 5-week online course to help you build your brand, and of course, our free 90-day email marketing challenge. Take the challenge today, build your email list, and you can find everything again over at buildyouredubrand.com. And that wraps up this episode of the Jeff Bradbury Show. On behalf of Jay and everybody here in the TeacherCast Educational Network, my name is Jeff Bradbury, reminding you guys to keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions with your students.
You've been listening to the TeacherCast Educational Network, hosted by Jeff Bradbury. Please reach out to the show with all of your questions on Twitter @TeacherCast or online at www.teachercast.net. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And please take a moment to write a review in the App Store.